Okay, it's time to take a look at what's making news in print and online, and we're joined by Ebony Bennett, the Deputy Director of the think tank, the Australia Institute. Ebony, good morning to you.
Good morning, thanks for having me.
Boy, we are talking tax on many levels today. So the front of the Financial Review is looking at family trusts. Take it away.
Yeah, so the Treasury is going to be putting more scrutiny on family trusts. There's about 1.1 million Australians that receive something like $60 billion in income through trusts, which are a vehicle basically for lowering your marginal tax rates. And last year that number grew, I think, by about 200,000 people, beneficiaries of trusts. And so Treasury here is signalling that they're going to be taking a closer look at this tax minimisation vehicle in future.
Okay, certainly one to watch. And staying with tax, we're about to head into what is going to be a pitch battle in the Senate over the changes to the Stage 3 tax cuts. We have the Treasurer Jim Chalmers, and we turn our attention to The Guardian for this story, warning about, as he sees it, the dangers of restoring those tax cuts, the higher tax cuts to higher income earners. Ebony.
That's right. So the coalition here wants to have its cake and eat it too, keeping the original Stage 3 tax cuts plus Labor's additional, more generous tax cuts to low and middle income earners. And the Treasurer here warning that would cost a lot of money over the forward estimates, the next 4 years, about $40 billion, and I think above $100 billion over the next 10 years if the coalition was to do that. And look, Australia Institute Executive Director Richard Dennis was at the National Press Club yesterday, and he was warning that if the coalition kind of pursued this strategy, what they're basically saying is they don't care about inflation and they don't care about the budget deficit. This would obviously increase the deficit if Labor were to agree to this coalition plan. And in these times of a cost of living where we're just starting to see inflation come down, adding another $40 billion to the economy would almost certainly be inflationary, pushing up interest rates when everyone's been waiting for them to come down for a very long time now.
Politically, and the opposition is taking its time to come to a considered view on this. Politically, though, do you see it hard for the coalition, politically, putting economics to one side, Ebony, politically to oppose the entirety of the changes, given that everybody under pretty much $150,000 a year, $147,000 a year gets a higher tax cut than they otherwise would have?
Yeah, that's really interesting. For the Liberals, obviously, you know, they've already backtracked from the idea that they would just stick to the original Stage 3 tax cuts. That only took about a day. But you asked about the coalition. The interesting thing here is, what will the Nationals do in the Senate? National seats were really not going to benefit very much from the original Stage 3 plan. They're going to be big winners under this new plan from the Labor government that really redistributes a lot of those tax cuts to low and middle income earners, doubling the tax benefit for average income earners and middle income earners. A lot of those are in National seats. So I haven't heard what the Nationals are going to do about this yet, but that's one that I'll be watching out for.
Yeah, they're saying they will be waiting until they see the actual legislation, so stay posted on that. The Sydney Morning Herald has the front page about, as you were just discussing, the inflation numbers, what it might happen for interest rates. We were just speaking to the Finance Minister, Katie Gallagher, about this. Of course, they always say they don't want to preempt what the RBA might do, but gee, the experts are certainly buying into when we might see rate cuts.
Yeah, that's right. And this is really good news for the federal government. They've made a lot of interventions directly to lower the prices of things like going to the doctor and childcare, and news that inflation has dropped to a 2-year low, I think it is, at 4.1%, is really fantastic news for Australians right across the country. And yes, it will put more pressure on the RBA potentially to cut rates. There's a couple of economists in the papers today tipping that we might see 2 interest rate cuts by Christmas. I don't think the government will be banking on that, but certainly for everyone out there who's worried about inflation and has been really struggling, this is certainly good news.
Yeah, if those cuts come to pass, all up to the RBA board, obviously, as to what to do as the year goes on. Let's finally turn, Ebony, to the Mercury, and it's a big and not necessarily great day for the racing industry in Tasmania.
Yeah, an inquiry into harness racing in Tasmania has found that one of the leading trainers there was engaged in animal abuse and potentially team driving and race fixing, things like that. And also we're going to see the Tasmanian government abolish the regulatory body down there because it also was not doing its job, and that will be replaced with something else. And I think this is a really big win for the ABC, this investigation, one of many that has been prompted by the fantastic public interest journalism at the ABC and a really close investigative journalism piece into this. And, you know, Tassie punters were being ripped off by the sounds of it, and big problems in the industry there are dominated by a few people. And so hopefully we'll see a big clean-up and much better outcomes.
Yes, credit where it's due. The ABC March last year broke this story, and now we're seeing the results of it.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos, make sure to give us a follow so you don't miss the next one. See you next time.